Thank you. And good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in Italy. First of all, because Italy is a nice country, but secondly, because it's nice to see so many people here. Over the years, I've participated in many of these user conferences that we have in different countries, and seeing a crowd as big as what we have here today is very unusual. So very nice to see so many people and have the opportunity to exchange some views with hopefully many of you. I'm going to take you through a little tour here about what has been released recently in the mic products, but also of course looking into the future and what will come in the months and years ahead of us. We're going to cover a fair bit of ground, you can see here, and let's get going on it. In the field of water resources, there are a huge range of issues that needs to be looked at when we are managing the whole freshwater resource. And doing that today with the mic products is possible through use of the range of simulation water simulation products we have: mic basin, mic 11, mic she, and so on. It's a complex world that calls for a range of different modeling approaches, ranging from basin-wide mic basin model, looking at the water allocation, for instance, to a detailed mic she model integrated with mic 11 and so on, going into much finer details. So we have this range of products that is addressing this field of issues. But nevertheless, it's a vision that we have that we would like to create one product that basically supports all the different simulation needs that our users are having within the water resources area. The advantages are obvious. We can, within one user interface, we allow for simulating things at multiple scales, ranging from maybe the details of an irrigation district, like we see on the top here, to simulating management of water in a complete water or a river basin, like the Nile basin we see here at the bottom, which is not only a big river basin, but it's also a basin which is covering several nations. So being able to work within the same product when having those different focuses, we think that will be a really important feature of this new mic hydro to come. You can start simple when you have only a few data available, and as more data get collected, you can start being more advanced in your modeling approach, and you can do that without jumping from one product to another. So this is what it's going to look like, or somehow look like. The center of the application is going to be a map view, where of course all the data that goes into the modeling, they will be visualized, but there will also be, of course, background information like aerial photos that will show up more or less automatically based on the geolocation of the modeling here. Over here to the left, you have a tree view where you can control how things are appearing in the map view and control what kind of modeling components that you would like to apply in this particular modeling context. Over here you will have property views that gives you the details of one of the objects that you have clicked on in the graphical view here. So the ultimate goal is to include mic basin, mic 11, mic flood, and mic she. But our intention here is not to make a revolution, but to do this through evolution. So the first step we'll take is to make the simulation features that are today available in Mic Basin available in Mic Hydro, and that will happen in the next release coming the middle of 2012. And then following that, we will subsequently and gradually integrate the other products into Mic Hydro. This is just a few screen dumps here showing what some of the editing features will look like here. This is how you can work with graphical editing of river networks. Zooming into a particular catchment here, then a typical task is that you have to delineate your catchments, and if you have a digital elevation model available, it's just a matter of bringing that in as a background layer and clicking at a particular location on the network, and then it will delineate the catchment. So there will be very GIS looking features in Mic Hydro. You can show all sorts of background and spatial data. As I said before, there will be a feature that will automatically load Google Map content onto the background, either as aerial photos, as you see here, or as a map layer. And this is something that will be brought in, of course, over the internet automatically based on the location of your model. We're also looking into bringing in other sources of map data like the Bing map, but there are some licensing issues there that we're looking at currently. One product that we will keep on its own, which is also a water resources product, is the FeeFlow. This was released in version 2010, or in 2010 in version 6 as a brand new user interface, a whole new generation of FeeFlow. As you can see on the animations here, it's a very nice user interface that of course, first of all, supports setting up the model, and as an important part of that, it has a very nice mesh generator. FeeFlow is a finite element model, so it requires that you define the triangular network similar to how you do this in Mic 21 FM. And then it can do, of course, simulations, but also visualizations. I guess you've seen the animations out in the corridor on the big screen out there. But it's also important to be able to do non-animated visualizations like this one here. FeeFlow, of course, needs a three-dimensional description of the geology in order to run. And keeping an overview of what is going on in this three-dimensional terrain or soil model is sometimes difficult. So being able to make these slice plots here or cross-section plots is really useful. Another type of visualization also in FeeFlow, showing the spreading of a contaminant in the groundwater. So FeeFlow 6.1 is coming out. It's in a beta release by the end of the year, but in a final release together with the Mic software release 2012. And that will complete the transition from the old user interface of FeeFlow to the new generation. So it means that there will be no need to use the old user interface anymore. All the different types of simulation approaches are available in this coming version. So moving on to the saline part of the water cycle, onto the coastline, then this is old news, you can say. Version 2011 included a new version of LitPack that first of all it made a common setup file for all the different LitPack modules, and it provided a lot more flexibility in regard to defining input values and specifying output and so on. And it also allows to work with LitPack in a geo-referenced domain, which I'm sure is appreciated by many LitPack users. This LitPack is transition or upgrade, you can say, is also going to continue into the next release and being completed with version 2012. Then moving on to the to the urban side of the story, we have a new product called West. I think Andrea, you just mentioned. But this is a software that can simulate the chemical and biological processes or biochemical processes taking place in a wastewater treatment plant. So being able to simulate the efficiency of the treatment plant and being able to see how the efficiency of the treatment plant can be improved. How is the treatment plant reacting to varying inflow? What will happen with the peak flow during the evening is increasing? How will the efficiency be affected by that? The product West is not a new product as such, as it has been developed over the years by a company in Belgium. But DHI took over and acquired the West, the rights to the West product back in April. And we are currently working on completing a development that was initiated by the former company. And we're finishing it these days here, and towards the end of the month it will be ready for release. And that is actually constituting a major upgrade also of that product. The user interface and the numerical engine will be completely different. The learning experience for newcomers will be really easy. That has been a very strong focus of the design of this new version here. So we're looking forward to getting that release out of the door and meeting some new clients, being all the old Vest users, but hopefully also making some new clients with this product here. We are releasing a new version again next year, but that will, compared to the version coming out this year, it will just be a minor upgrade. Climate change is an issue that is being mentioned in the news and in scientific circles very often these days. And we are, and you are, amongst the experts that will not be given the question, how will the climate change? But you will be given the question, what will happen if the climate changes like this and this and this? How will that influence the recharge of groundwater? How will that influence the frequency of flooding and so on? And being water experts, we need to look across to the climate experts to be able to answer those questions. And this is what we are trying to, that gap is what we're trying to bridge with this new feature in MIC 2011. And what that is that it's results from global climate model, global circulation models these results has been made publicly available through IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. And we have downloaded all these results here. You are free to do that, and we have added those to the MIC DVD. So when you install 2011 of MIC, you will actually, along with that, also install a range of outputs from a range of different GCM models. So what you can then do is that with this new climate change feature, you may have some existing meteorological data. It could be rainfall at a particular location, and you would like to predict how is that historical rainfall going to look like 30, 40, 50, 100 years ahead of now, assuming a particular CO2 emission scenario, and assuming, of course, that the results of these global climate models are reliable. And this is what the new feature can do. It will simply produce a new set of meteorological data, so DFS0 files for your MIC 11, MIC SHE, MIC flood model, whatever you have. So this part here, circled, is what comes with MIC 2011, the GCM output and the downscaling procedure. The steps you have to go through are pretty simple. There's a new tool here, or file type called climate change. So you open that one, and then you point to your existing MIC SHE model, for instance. and then it will automatically search through the MIC model setup, and it will identify all the climate data that you have that you're using as boundary conditions for this model, and then it will come up with suggestions for how to change those climate data depending on your choice of climate or CO2 scenario, and also of course your choice of year into the future where you want to make this projection. This is not super accurate, of course, because this is a global climate model. There is also the choice to add additional data to this tool here. If you somehow have access to regional climate model, we cannot put that onto the DVD because this is typically not available for free. But if you have access to that, you can add that to the global climate model data, and in that way obtain a better accuracy with the regional models. Performance, that is very important for you as users of the MIC software. Waiting for the simulation to complete is annoying, and the faster it goes, the better it is. The faster it is, the more details you can put into the model, and the more accuracy you can provide to yourself or to your client. There was a study taking place in last year in the UK where a range of 2D flood models, they were being compared, not only with respect to performance, but also a qualitative evaluation of or comparison of the results. And actually, the results that came out of the fully hydrodynamic models, they were not too different. But one of the things that are different between the models is the runtime. How long time does it take to run the models? And we were proud to see that MIC Flood came out pretty good ahead of the other softwares. And performance and speeding up the models is something that has very high priority at DHI. And one of the ways we are achieving that is by utilizing parallel processing. This is where hardware development is nowadays. The speed of the individual processor is not going up much, but the number of processors is increasing dramatically. And this is a little bit of history of how we have developed parallelization over the years, starting some 5-6 years back with some of the more special modules in MIC 21, but then now also going into MIC 21 Classic, MIC Flood, and MIC She. One way of using parallelization is to use what is called shared memory. That means that all the processors that are sitting on one computer, they are accessing the same memory. Another approach is to use what is called distributed memory. So there you take your model area and you divide it into, say, 4 different sub-areas, and they will be running individually. Of course, they will communicate, so a wave can travel from the southern part here through the middle and going to the north. But each core of the computer has its own distinct memory to work on, so it doesn't have to sort of fight with access to memory together with the other cores. And that is important for speeding up simulations. Another case is this one here, where you see a typical MIC 21 model in the sense that it has a coarse grid out here, and the closer you get to the area of interest, the finer the grid becomes. So here we have some very small areas right in the middle here, but since we have a very fine cell size here, they contain more or less the same number of cells. What is interesting when you are talking about parallelization and adding more cores to the simulation is, of course, whether 4 times as many cores, will that mean that the simulation runs 4 times as fast? And we, of course, we're not that lucky, but we're close. And that also depends on whether you're using the shared memory or the distributed memory approach. 3 minutes, boy. So this is the speed up you can get. The right line here, the red line here is the ideal line. So 4 times as many processes means 4 times as fast, and you can see that it's declining a little bit here. But with the distributed memory, it is much closer to the ideal line. And this is on a Windows computer with 8 cores, but we've taken this approach across to Linux or Unix world and applied this on a large number of processors. You see up to 30 here with a Mic 21 model, and we actually get a performance which is 30 times faster. So that is very encouraging, and we have tried it on also Mic 3. Here it's not quite as good, but still being able to increase your simulation speed by a factor of 60 by putting it on a huge cluster computer is really something significant. So that is coming with version 2012, the possibility to run simulations on Linux computers. The user interface will still only be available on Windows, but it will be a Linux computational possibility. On to another new feature coming, also related to performance and running a large number of simulations. We have a happy mic user here, and he receives a call from his client, and the client says, "I would like you to do 10 simulations within the next 2 days. We have an important meeting." This mic user suddenly turns on very unhappy because he cannot meet that deadline. He has 3 mic licenses, and each simulation takes more than a day. Until he realizes that there is something now or soon that is called Mic by DHI SaaS portal, and SaaS is short for Software as a Service. And that allows this user here to rent on an hourly basis a PC in the cloud, which includes a mic license. And he can not only rent one, he can rent a large number of those, and he can upload each of his scenario runs to each of these PCs, and then he can run the simulations in the cloud. And he can rent this solution for 12 hours or 2 days or whatever he needs, and he will only pay by the hour. So the important thing is that you're renting both the hardware, a virtual PC in the cloud, and you're renting the software. And then he will meet his deadline. There's some leaflets out on the table in the corridor that explains more about how to use this. So what will come next is that in addition to being able to run these simulations on these virtual PCs, then it's also possible to execute them in the cloud. With the solution that we are coming with now, you still have to log in remotely to the virtual PC. You have to copy your data across to that PC manually, and you have to start Mic 21 or whatever, and then run the simulation in the cloud. But with the coming version, it's something that can be done automatically right from your computer. I'll have to speed up here. Sorry about that. Openness is something important also for us. We're trying to be as open as possible with the mic software, and rather than having the mic software as a finished house where you can buy the whole house or you can buy nothing, we are being more open towards breaking down the house into smaller compartments and allowing you to, if you somehow want to provide a special solution where your brand is on the top of what you are providing, but inside it has a mic engine that does the computations, then things like that will be possible. Another example of openness is the Ecolab. It's been around for some years now, but it's being more and more used within the mic products. And one example is the oil spill. That came out last year as a new feature based on Ecolab. Another example is in Ecolab, in MicShe, we are also have also introduced Ecolab, and the difference between this integration and some what we've seen before is that We have the possibility to work with 3 different Ecolab templates, one corresponding to overland flow, one in the unsaturated, and one in the saturated zone. And this is, of course, supporting the fact that the chemical and biological processes that dominates on the ground are totally different from what dominates in the unsaturated and saturated soil. We have been approved, or the MIC software have gone through different approvals over the years. And just to mention a couple of them, then in the US, the FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, they have approved MIC Flood for use on what they call the National Flood Insurance Program. And this is actually an achievement that no other non-US software has gone to. In the EA, we saw that the Environment Agency has approved. I'm at -1 now, I know that. We also have approvals from, I'm finished almost now. We have approval by local and regional authorities, and just one example is Auckland City Council in New Zealand. But another sign of the use of MIC software is to take the list of the 20 largest water consultants as published by NCE, the new civil engineer in the UK. And 19 out of those are actually using MIC software for their water consultancy. And if you ask them, or when we ask them why, we get answers like it's because it's scientifically sound. We can increase our productivity. We can get outstanding technical support when we have a problem. There is a full range of tools, so we don't have to go to another software provider whenever we go into a different field of modeling. And in total, this is what we call more than software. Sorry for taking a bit of your lunchtime, and if you didn't get all the timing and versions and so on, then they are listed here on this slide here. Thank you. Any questions?